This is Carl at National RV Detroit, and I'm going to walk you through this 2022 Forest River Salem Cruise Lite travel trailer, model number 171 RBXL. So this is not a floor plan video, this is the how-to video. I'm just going to show you some of the features and how they work, okay? So we have scissor type stabilizer jacks on this one. It works with a 3/4 inch crank or a 3/4 inch socket on a drill. Keep in mind you have this added attachment called a strong arm, which is a really neat thing in the sense that it helps take the forward and rearward movement out of it when you're stabilized it. So just the one thing to remember is this: you can tighten these down. Each one, there's 4 of these on here. Each one has this T-handle. The T-handle keeps the inner piece from sliding in the outer piece, so it gives stability to it. So you always want this open when you're raising and lowering the jacks. Once you get them lowered and in the position you want, then you tighten this up, right, to keep it from moving. But always remember, when you're bringing it back down, or up I should say, you just give it a loosen up so it travels freely. So keep that in mind. There's a strong arm on each corner with each jack, and each one has that T-handle, so make sure you loosen them up when you're traveling up and down with the jacks, okay? Alrighty. Storage, plus these panels float freely. You can pull them out and you can reach the valves on the back of the water heater for winterizing and de-winterizing, that sort of thing. Your water heater itself, let me get this off here. Thing to remember is there's this switch right here. This rocker switch controls the electric heating element that's behind this cover. So keep in mind that switch is there. There are also switches inside the trailer, but that one controls the electric heating element. Never run this water heater without water in it. If you've drained it at the beginning of the season because you're not going to camp again until the fall, let's say, just remember to refill it before you start using it in the fall, because you don't want, if you don't, you can damage the heating element very quickly. So, all right. Another thing to know is that this is where you drain it at. It takes 1 inch and a 1/16 6-point socket and a 6-inch extension and that sort of thing. So you can drain it right there. That's also an anode rod, so it's a long, 6-inch or so thing. It has the plug and an anode rod attached to it, so that's where you drain it, okay? This is the pressure release valve like you'd have on any water heater. Always let the pressure out by opening the valves, like say the kitchen valves, whatever, to let the pressure out of the system before you take this out, because if not, it'll shoot out of there like a cannonball if there's pressure. Also, always make sure that this is cooled down, because you don't want to scald yourself by getting sprayed by it, so make sure it's cooled down before you mess with it, okay? Alright. You have an awning with LED strip, 2 outside speakers, a TV hookup here, okay? You can adjust the length of the legs on your stairs. Now you always want to keep them low enough so this, here, let me show you over here. So this black piece is parallel with the threshold underneath. If it's up too high like that, the door can get bound up a bit. So you always want to make sure you adjust the legs properly so the door opens and closes freely. Okay. All right. Let's see what we've got here. So you have this device here has to do with operating the awning if it's failed. You have to read about that to understand it. Just know that it's there. This crank right here is for the power tongue jack. If it happens to fail, you can stick this in the top. There's a rubber plug on the top of the tongue jack, and you can stick that on there and crank it. And of course, this right here is your drill attachment for your stabilizer jack crank. It's a 3/4 inch 6-point socket, so you can just put it on your drill and take them up and down, okay? Let me show you where the other crank goes on the, on the stabilizer, or I mean on the power tongue jack, I'm sorry. So you have a hitch light here, up and down, and then if it happens to fail for any reason, you can pull this plug out of the top and stick that crank on there and use it manually. Okay, Well, let me see if I forgot anything over here. Looks like I've got it all. Your hitch is a Husky centerline weight distribution hitch with built-in sway control. It's a good one. We'll show you how it operates when you pick up. All right, you have 2 LP tanks, which are full. Power tongue jack, like I said. You have a deep cycle marine battery, and this is the kill switch for the battery. If you ever want to shut it off, like you put it into storage for the winter, you can just shut it off at that red key there. Okay. This is the other side of the pass-through storage. Keep in mind that this is your dump hose that comes with it. You have that's just the vent for your furnace. It does get kind of hot, so keep that in mind. This is your city water hookup right here. So basically, you're going to hook. If you have city water, you hook the hose up, turn it on, and you're all set, ready to go. Now, if you're camping someplace that doesn't have plumbing on the campsite, you can pre-fill the fresh water tank right here, and then use the onboard pump to pump the water. So you can still use the city water, or it'll still work like it has city water, even if you're pumping it out of the tank. All right, just this white gate valve down here is to drain your fresh water tank, right there. Okay, your 2 dump valves here, gray and black. There's your gray, there's your black. Always remember, you basically, usually they dump the black first because it's toilet water and waste. Then you'll dump the gray because it's sink and shower water, so it's cleaner water than the other one. Also, back here on the back of the trailer, this is the black tank flush. So after you dump the black tank, you can leave the valve open, like it says on this sticker. Leave the black tank valve open, put the hose on here at the dump station, turn it on, it'll spray the inside of your black tank out. It'll spray off the sensors and give you a good, make sure you get a good accurate reading, that sort of thing. So it's a good, if there's a working hose at the dump station, it's a good idea to do that. This is your 30-foot, 30-amp power cord. We also give you a reducer to reduce it down to 20 if you want to plug it in at home. These are your low point drains, which is the lowest point of the plumbing. You use that during winterizing. Campground cable and satellite through right here. Okay. It's pre-wired for a backup camera, so you can see right there if you want to add one on. We sell them here, but you can get them all over the place. You can get them online, whatever. Just make sure you get the one that fits in that housing. This is also a Lippert, a portable ladder that fits on that bracket. You don't get the ladder with it, but you get the hookup in case you want to get one. While we're talking about ladders, the manufacturer states that you should inspect the roof every 90 days. So you want to send somebody up there to look at all the sealant, make sure there's no cracking or separation, make sure that there's no damage to roofing material or attachments by low branches or by road debris flipping up there, anything like that, okay? And make sure you do that. People, generally speaking, don't inspect their roof enough. Okay, so as you know, the couch jackknifes flat, and then the Murphy bed folds down over it, so you can reclaim the floor space during the day, which is a great thing. With a small trailer, it makes it seem like a much bigger trailer. This is just telling us it's wired for solar. So behind here are some wires for the solar controller, and then on the roof there's going to be wires for solar panel. Okay, this is a dimmer here. You just rub your finger over it. You have your 2 lights here, your ceiling light, and then of course your awning light. This is your awning switch right here. See, it goes out. Always make sure this door is perpendicular to the front here, so you don't hit the. If it's open all the way, the awning arm can hit it. So make sure you keep that in mind. Never leave the awning out unattended. If you're not going to be at the campsite, roll it in so it doesn't get damaged. You turn your water pump on right here. Remember, that's for pumping water out of the fresh water tank. You also use it when you're winterizing the trailer to turn your water heater on gas right here. Remember, I showed you the switch in the lower left-hand corner on the outside is for electric. Always make sure there's water in the water heater tank before you use it. Batteries charged, fresh water tank, black, gray are all empty. They graduate up in 1/3 increments, of course. All right, so you can drop this table down onto the cleats and use the back cushions to fill in the space, turn it into a bed. You have let me get some light back on here, hold on. You have your radio here. So basically you have AM FM radio, you have Bluetooth so you can stream wirelessly with your phone or your tablet. You have a HD, or you have a USB here so you can put all your favorite albums on a USB stick and take them with you. You have an HDMI in right here, so if you want to go into the system with a Blu-ray player or something, you can do that. And it has 2 speaker zones, 1 and 2. 1 is inside the trailer, 2 is outside the trailer. Okay? So a lot you can do with it. This looks like where you would hook your TV up right here. It's got a backer. So the wires would pull through here and you can put a TV there if you choose to. Alright, so your thermostat, right now we're on auto low cool. Basically you just hit the button, or the mode button, and it'll cycle you through furnace, fan, which is just the air conditioner running without the compressor, and then of course cool. Always, if they give you an option for fan speed of auto, always use that. It's the best way to go. Okay? You have a 12 volt DC compressor refrigerator. Runs on 12 volts. Okay, this is your power converter right here. So this converts AC to DC power. So when you're plugged in, you can see right here, you got regular circuit breakers like you'd see at home, and they're all labeled. Those are 120 AC. Then over here, the power is converted to 12 volt DC, and you got 12 volt fuses, and they're all labeled. Okay. Now, if any of these were to blow, they'll actually light up, and you can see them through this tinted plastic here. And also keep in mind, this is a battery tender, so it'll sense how much energy your battery up front has and needs. Let's say it's topped off. Well, it'll only trickle a couple amps up there to maintain it. If it's low, it'll send 10 amps or whatever it needs up there. It makes the decision by how charged the battery is. So that's how your battery is charged. The other way your battery is charged is the alternator on your tow vehicle. When you're pulling down the road, will also charge the battery. Alright, so winterizing is under here. You need a screwdriver or a bit with a number 2 square-headed bit on it so you can remove these panels, but that's where that happens. Your range is right here. I don't know if he's got the gas on or not, but if not, I'll just talk you through it. This one is, you turn it clockwise to spark it. You got 3 knobs, 3 burners, and then the oven here. So let's see if he's got it turned on. Yes. So it's that simple. The oven's a little different. Down at the bottom here, all the way to the back, is a pilot light. Maybe you can see it sparking back there. Okay. So what you do is you go to the oven knob, you go to the picture of the pilot light, then you depress it. You keep it depressed while you're lighting it. You'll spark it with the other hand until you see the pilot light light. Once it lights, you hold this in for another 10 seconds or so, and then till the thermocouple heats up, then you'll go to whatever temperature you want. When you shut it off, the flame goes out, but so does the pilot light, so you have to reuse the pilot light, or relight the pilot light each time you use the oven. Okay. Microwave, looks like any other microwave. This is your range hood. It's got a light in it and a fan. Okay. Now there's a vent on the outside that I don't think I showed you, so let me show you that. It has a baffle in it, and if you're venting to the outside, you always want to make sure the baffle is freely flapping, I guess, free to flap, whatever, or it won't vent to the outside. So you just go up to here, pull it loose, right? So now it flaps freely. When you put it in storage or you're traveling, you can just snap it shut like that. But if you want to vent to the outside, make sure you open this baffle, okay? Alrighty, back inside. Okay, so you got an extension on the table. This device down here is your carbon monoxide LP gas detector. You can see it's green. It should always be green. If it's not, get it serviced. It'll go off. It detects carbon monoxide or LP gas. Okay. Let's see. So moving towards the bathroom here. The sink and shower work like any other sink and shower. Okay. You have a GFCI here. All the plugs in the trailer are wired to a GFCI. And here you have your typical RV toilet. It has a flush pedal right here, if you can see it. The black tank is directly below. So you can't use it dry. So what you do after you hook up your power and your water, you come inside, you put a dose of chemical right in the bowl there, then you'll step on the pedal and let at least a gallon of water go into the black tank along with the chemical. Then you're ready to use it. You can't use it dry. If you do, the smell will be terrible, plus it can get clogged up, and it's a challenge to unclog it. So you always want to make sure you have chemical and water in there before you start using it. So let's say you're going to stay at the campground for another week, but you had to dump your black tank because it was full. Because you're going to stay there another week after you dump the black tank, you come in here, put a dose of chemical and a gallon of water in there. So, okay, now you can use more than a gallon of water. That's kind of the minimum you use. All right. Okay. So let's see what else we have. Your escape window. I don't think I showed that to you, but you push this out all the way through. Then you would grab a hold of your this red tab, would pull the screen out, and then you can exit right out that window in an emergency. Okay. I think that's it. This is the reducer for your power cord if you want to reduce it from 30 down to 20 amps to plug it in at home, for example. This is your remote for your radio. Okay. I think that pretty much covers it. Let me look around here. You have a smoke detector up here. Always make sure the battery is good. Okay. All right. So I want to thank you for purchasing your trailer here at National RV Detroit. Please remember what I said about inspecting the roof every 90 days. That's very important. Odds are you won't have to do anything for a long time, but that's why you're inspecting it. If you see an issue, take care of it immediately. And also, this has been de-winterized, so it's ready to be camped in. The antifreeze has been purged out, replaced with fresh water. The bypass valves on the water heater are in camping mode right now, and the tank is full. So you're all set. You're all ready to go. Okay? Thank you.